Hey folks, alright, so let's talk crafters. So far, I've done two videos. I did one about druids, and I did about the class sorcerers. So I wanted to take a moment and do a video about a non-magical class, because of all 11 classes, the amount of magic kind of varies. Some have a lot, some have maybe a little tiny bit of magic, but are primary magic users. Crafters don't have any magic spells. Their magic is their imagination. If you notice, I don't have sort of an extraordinary background. I've been trying to find places to shoot these videos that in some way are connected with the class, but I think I think my favorite pick probably for a crafter video would probably be for like a scrapyard. But that's not something I really have access to at this very moment, so we'll have to make do with what we have. So, what is a crafter? A crafter is a character. Their class is they get to build things, they get to fix, construct things. You can do this without being a crafter. In fact, your character might realize it's the right class for you, because you can still build things without being a crafter, and if you find yourself already kind of doing that, it might be a good tip-off. It takes longer, and it takes more effort when you're building things and you're not a crafter. So I think that's probably one good way to know that this might be the right class for you. If you already are trying to collect and build things, then crafter might be the class that you want to pick. Crafters love to collect and try to fix things, repair things. They might find something and put it in their bag and say, oh, well, maybe I can, turn it in this or turn it into that. So crafters are very creative. I think in some ways a crafter has to be as creative as a sorcerer, but they're more creative about the materials that they're using and the things that they're building than about sort of abstract magical concepts. So to earn the class of crafter, you need to tell me your backstory and your specialty, your crafting specialty. Because you're able to craft and build a lot faster than you're able to if you're just sort of a regular character building something. Because you can build something as a regular character, but as a crafter, so you're able to do it quicker, and you need to tell me what your specialty is. Are you a woodworker? Are you maybe like more of a blacksmithing type crafter? Are you maybe you work with glass? Maybe you work with electronics. Technology does coexist with magic in the adventure survival universe. So you have to tell me what your focus is, and then what you need to tell me is how you learned that craft. How did you how did you learn how to work wood? How did you learn how to bend iron? Who taught you? And then, once you've done that, you now qualify for having a class known as Crafter. So once you've earned your class by having a collective stat of 32, and by telling me your character's backstory and their crafting specialty, you get some stuff. So, as a crafter, you get, just right away, your own set of tools. So the idea is that, you're a crafter, this is your trade, this is your art, so you are going to have some tools to do it with. Maybe that's carpentry tools, maybe that's, glass blowing, or blacksmithing, or silver smelting, or whatever you choose your focus to be. You get a set of tools you can carry around with you and do some work and build things as you go. As a crafter, you get to construct one simple item a day in-game, and then one complex item a day, every 2 days in-game. What does that mean? So a simple item is something you could probably hold in one or two hands. It might not be particularly interactive, but it might have some kind of interactive purpose. So for instance, if you wanted to be like a metal worker, you could craft a wrench, you could craft maybe like a pair of scissors, you could craft a doorknob, and that would count as more like a simple item. If you wanted to craft something more complex, like a complex item, that's going to be something larger or like more interactive. So for instance, maybe you want to craft a wooden puzzle box or like a wooden lock, that, or like it's a puzzle box and some way you have to interact with it or press a button or do something, and through that it'll like open up and reveal some information you want to keep secret otherwise. That would be considered a complex item because it's a little bit more complicated. There's a little bit more interaction with it. I've also had kids kind of save up their complex items and build full-on like vehicles, whether it be some sort of lightweight spaceship or I believe an airship that was powered by balloon and gas stove was recently created by a group of people in one of the games. So crafting is really exciting. You have a lot of different options for what you might want to build. Something to keep in mind as a crafter is you do need resources. They don't just sort of pop into existence. So if you are, for instance, maybe you are a metal worker and you've got a small amount of ore with you and you go to craft something and it doesn't work out. So you're like, okay, I want to try to craft it again. Well, you're going to need more ore. So if you're in a town, or perhaps near a mine, you're doing okay. If you're maybe out in the middle of a desert, and there's only sand for miles, you might have a tougher situation to deal with. So to craft an item, what you're going to do is you're going to look at your crafter score. You're going to take your intelligence, and you're going to take your dexterity, you're going to add those two numbers together. That's your crafter score. So let's say you have a 5 in intelligence and a 6 in dexterity. So your crafting score is 11. As a crafter, you're going to get to use some special dice. You're going to grab a d20 and a d4. And so when you want to craft something, you're going to roll that d20, roll that d4, and then take whatever number that you get, and you're going to look at your crafter score. And you're going to add those numbers together. If they equal 22, you are successful in your crafting effort. Alrighty, I think that is most of what I have to share about crafters today. If your character is a creative problem solver, if your character likes to sort of go into, the first instinct is to go into a room and sort of look around and see what kind of items they can grab and be like, maybe if I put this with that, with this, or if I use this in this way, I can create something new. I really want to do a video about a class that wasn't based in magic, and I think crafters sometimes might get overlooked because they aren't magical, and people might assume that means they're not exciting, but I think crafters have done some of the more curious, innovative things that I've ever seen done in adventure survival. So if you like to build, or you think sometimes there's some overlap, but if your character likes to build, likes to collect, likes to think of new uses for items, then crafter might be the class for you.